Hello. So for chapter 9, I did number 1. One possible reason why intercultural travel can be difficult is because we are hindered from meeting the basic human needs identified by Maslow. Do you feel that Maslow's hierarchy of needs is applicable to other cultures? Why or why not? Be sure to cite the text in your response. Um, so I think this hierarchy is universal to anyone traveling to a new place. They're human needs, not just American needs. Um, on page 287, the text says humans who are able to basically meet each of these five needs are assumed to live healthy, productive lives. When we travel from one culture to another, our ability to meet these needs is likely hindered or suspended for some time. When you travel, you're immediately put in a situation where everything is harder. You don't know where to go get the food is, or the closest place to get food is. Maybe you don't speak the language, and the place you're staying isn't the home so it makes it a lot harder to feel secure. When you're in your house for the longer the time you're in your house for, nothing bad happens, you feel safer and safer there. Going to a place where you don't know, feel pretty spooked. Um, this would be stressful for anyone, despite their culture. Maybe some cultures would deal with it better than others. I don't know any specific examples, but I'm sure it differs from culture to culture how they cope with these situations. Um, you know, Even if you're really excited to go somewhere or, experience a new culture, these stressors will build up and, you either overcome them or you don't, and you go home and that's how it is. But when you immerse in a new culture you're not familiar with, they're going to happen. No matter how prepared you think you are, there's always going to be surprises. And you just got to conquer all these obstacles to, meet these basic needs. And then I also did number 5. In this chapter is argued that returning to your own culture can be just as difficult as going to a new culture in the first place. Do you really believe this? Why or why not? What experiences have you had or observed that support your position? I absolutely believe this. Once you become acclimated to a new culture, that shifts the way you interact with the world. So when you go home, it's, you're trying to relearn these norms and identify with your original culture again. But your state of mind is, has completely shifted because maybe your norms and values changed. I didn't have, a major shift in culture. I mean, it's definitely different over there, but after living in Washington my whole life, I moved to Kona, Hawaii. And there, everything moves a little slower. Like, the people, the cars, everything, When I got there, I hated it. I mean, I didn't hate the place, but, I was just in my car, why are we going so slow? Or, why are there's a line because the cashier is talking to this person for so long, or people would just keep talking to me, and I'm a friendly person, but in Washington, it doesn't happen that often that someone genuinely wants to get to know you, and that is the case. Maybe, food would take forever to come out sometimes because, the guy in the back, he's taking his time on it. He wants to make sure it's really good, and, state of mind there is I'm in no rush, so why not just wait for good food, give him his time to really make it good. Driving, they just didn't see a need to endanger people, like some crazy people in Spokane do, where they're just racing from place to place. And you have a killer view the whole time. So might as well look at something pretty and just drive slow and be safe. Um, and then I moved back to Spokane, and I got used to it in Hawaii. I enjoyed it. I started partaking in these long conversations. I met some really cool people, and I loved the place. I loved the people. Food was good. Then I came back to Spokane, and people were cold. That's just they seemed cold. Um, and people were confused why I was so interested in them, and why I wanted to talk to them, and all this, and feels weird. Like, this is where I was born and raised. Um, I was driving like a grandma around, and getting honked at. So in Hawaii, like, if you really needed to get to a place on time, you'd leave early. And a lot of the times, if you were late, no one cared. Here, people care. Um, and people here have, they got places to be, and, you don't think of Spokane as some hustling, bustling place, but, it does tend to start feeling that way when you come from a place that's moving, like, Kona was. Um, yeah, this is an extreme example, but this is something I personally experienced, and it was hard for me initially, and I got past it, and yeah, so thank you very much.